Imagine waiting your entire life for something you desperately need. Not a luxury, but a basic human right, a safe and affordable place to call home. For many families in the UK today, this isn't a dystopian nightmare, but a stark reality. The social housing crisis has reached a fever pitch, with waiting lists stretching into decades, leaving families stranded in a system that seems to have forgotten them. In some areas, the wait for social housing can exceed a century. A century! This means children born today might not receive a council house until they are elderly. The sheer scale of the problem is staggering, and the human cost immeasurable. Families are forced to raise children in cramped, unsuitable accommodation, their lives on hold as they navigate a bureaucratic labyrinth with little hope of escape. The social housing crisis is not just about bricks and mortar, it's about people's lives. It's about the single mother working 2 jobs, struggling to keep a roof over her children's heads. It's about the elderly couple forced to choose between heating and eating because their pension barely covers the rent. It's about the erosion of hope and the despair that sets in when a decent home feels like an impossible dream. The current crisis is not a sudden storm, it's the culmination of decades of policy failures. Successive governments have failed to build enough social housing to meet demand, prioritizing home ownership over secure and affordable rentals. Right to buy, while well-intentioned, depleted the social housing stock without adequate replacement, exacerbating the existing shortage. Meanwhile, the demand for social housing continues to soar. A perfect storm of factors, including rising rents in the private sector, stagnant wages and welfare cuts, have pushed more families into housing insecurity. The COVID-19 pandemic further exposed the fragility of the system, as job losses and economic uncertainty left many struggling to keep up with housing costs. This toxic combination of dwindling supply and escalating demand has created a bottleneck in the system, leaving families trapped in a desperate scramble for scarce resources. Local authorities, overwhelmed by applications, are forced to prioritize the most vulnerable, leaving many in limbo for years, their lives on hold. The human cost of this crisis is immeasurable. Living in overcrowded or unsuitable housing can have a devastating impact on physical and mental health, particularly for children. Damp, mold, and lack of space can exacerbate respiratory problems, while the stress and uncertainty of housing insecurity take a toll on mental well-being. The lack of affordable housing also traps families in a cycle of poverty. High rents in the private sector consume a disproportionate amount of income, leaving families with little left over for essentials like food, heating, and clothing. This financial strain can lead to debt, further entrenching families in poverty and limiting their life chances. Moreover, the constant upheaval and uncertainty of moving from one temporary accommodation to another disrupts children's education, social lives, and sense of stability. It creates a sense of rootlessness and anxiety, casting a long shadow over their childhoods. Section 4. A Glimmer of Hope, Proposed Solutions and Reforms. Addressing this crisis requires, a multifaceted approach and a long-term commitment to increasing the supply of truly affordable housing. Some proposed solutions include massive investment in social housing. The government must commit to building hundreds of thousands of new social rent homes each year to address the current shortfall and meet future demand. Reforming right to buy. While home ownership should remain an aspiration, the right to buy scheme needs reform to ensure that every home sold is replaced with a new one, preventing further depletion of the social housing stock. Regulating the private rented sector, introducing rent controls and longer tenancies in the private sector would provide greater security for renters and help to stabilize the market. These measures, while crucial, are only part of the solution. Tackling the root causes of poverty and inequality, such as low wages and insecure work, is also essential to ensure that everyone has a fair chance to access safe and affordable housing. Section 5. A Call to Action. The urgency for safe and affordable homes. The social housing crisis is not just a political issue, it's a moral imperative. Everyone deserves a safe and affordable place to live, a place where they can thrive, not just survive. We cannot stand idly by while families are forced to live in deplorable conditions, their lives on hold. The time for action is now. We need a bold vision, significant investment, and an unwavering commitment from our leaders to address this crisis head-on. The future of countless families, and indeed the health of our society, depends on it. Let us not forget that behind the statistics are real people, families, children, individuals, whose lives are being irrevocably damaged by this crisis. Their stories are a powerful reminder of the urgent need for change.